All right, so you're ready to like really boost your English skills, right? Maybe you're thinking, is there a way I can actually enjoy this process?
Well, there is.
Yeah. Okay, tell me.
Reading. It could be your secret weapon.
Oh, reading. Okay. But like just picking up any old book.
Well, not exactly.
Okay. So what's the secret sauce here?
We did a deep dive into a bunch of research.
Research, huh?
Yeah, on how reading specifically impacts English language learning. And let me tell you, I was surprised. Some of the findings were mind-blowing.
Whoa. Okay, you've got my attention. I love a good mind-blowing fact. I mean, I'm a pretty big reader myself.
Right.
Yeah. But I honestly had no idea how much was secretly leveling up my English until we really dug into all this research.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how reading can impact your English on so many different levels.
Yeah, totally. It's not just about like expanding your vocabulary, right? Although, I mean, come on, that's a huge part of it.
It is.
I mean, we've all had that moment where you're reading and you're like, wait, what does this word even mean?
Oh, absolutely. But think about it. Instead of just like looking up a definition in a dictionary, you're encountering the word in its natural habitat, surrounded by all this context.
Right. So it helps you actually like grasp the nuances.
Exactly. And you see how it's used in different situations. It just makes it way more likely that you'll actually remember it.
It's true. It's like, okay, imagine this. Seeing a picture of a serene beach versus actually being there, feeling that calmness wash over you as you're standing on the shore.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
The experience, it just sticks with you.
It does. And you know how sometimes you'll be reading a book and you'll notice a particular word kind of popping up again and again?
Yeah.
That repetition, it's like a built-in learning hack almost.
Oh, interesting.
It reinforces the word's meaning and helps it really sink into your long-term memory. And you're not even trying.
Wow, that's pretty cool. It's like the author's subtly coaching you, sneaking in these vocabulary lessons within like this captivating story, you know? Okay, so vocabulary, that's one thing. But what really blew my mind?
Grammar.
Grammar.
Yeah, you can become a grammar whiz without even opening a textbook.
It's true.
It's like learning by osmosis or something.
Absolutely. Yeah. When you're absorbed in a good book, you're not consciously thinking about grammar rules. But your brain, it's absorbing all these patterns of the language, the sentence structures, the tenses, the punctuation. It's like you're downloading the blueprint for good grammar directly from the page.
Okay, that is a really cool way to put it. It's true, you just kind of pick it up. And, you know, here's something else I find really cool. Different genres, they expose you to different styles of language, right?
Right.
So, like, for example, you pick up a legal thriller. They might have these long, complex sentences with super formal language. But then you read a young adult novel and it's all shorter sentences, more informal dialogue.
That's a great point. It's like you're getting this crash course in how to adapt your language to different situations.
Exactly. Reading across different genres, it just helps you develop a much more versatile and nuanced understanding of grammar. But let's be honest, understanding individual words and grammar rules, it's just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
What we really want is to be able to understand the message as a whole.
100%. Oh man, this reminds me of this one time. I totally misinterpreted a character's motivations because I missed this one tiny detail earlier in the book. Ugh, it was a major facepalm moment.
We've all been there. But those moments, they're actually valuable learning experiences. They teach us the importance of context, tone, and all those subtle nuances that make communication so rich. And reading consistently, it just helps you fine-tune that skill of reading between the lines.
Yeah, it's like you're training your brain to become a detective, picking up on those clues, piecing together the bigger picture. So it's not just about understanding the words themselves, but also those unspoken messages, the cultural references, the underlying emotions.
Exactly.
Wow, okay. So reading is like this whole mind-expanding experience.
It is. And that actually brings us to another incredible benefit. It can make you a better writer.
Wait, hold on. How does reading make you a better writer? I always thought those were totally separate skills.
Well, imagine this. You're a budding artist. You spend hours studying these masterpieces by famous painters.
Okay, follow.
You're looking at their brushstrokes, their use of color, how they compose the whole piece.
Fine.
And then you start to internalize those techniques and you apply them to your own art.
Ah, okay, so it's the same with writing.
Precisely. By reading well-written books, we're subconsciously picking up on the techniques of these skilled authors.
So it's like having a personal writing coach, but like a secret one, guiding us without us even realizing it.
Exactly. You're exposed to all these different styles, different ways of structuring sentences and paragraphs, different approaches to storytelling, and all of that, it just seeps into your subconscious and influences your own writing.
I love that. It's like absorbing the essence of good writing through osmosis. But okay, speaking of absorbing things, let's talk about speaking.
Speaking.
Yeah, I know. You're probably thinking, hold up, how can reading possibly improve my spoken English? But trust me, there's a connection there.
There is. The more you read, the more you're exposed to the rhythms and the intonations of the language.
Right. So you start to develop an ear for what sounds natural and fluent.
Exactly. It's not just about the words themselves, but how they're delivered, the emphasis, the pauses, the overall flow.
Sort of the musicality of the language.
Exactly. And one of the best ways to really internalize those aspects is to read aloud.
Oh, reading aloud, yeah.
Yeah, it forces you to pay attention to your pronunciation, experiment with different tones of voice, and just practice speaking in a more natural and engaging way.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of this word I used to totally struggle with, entrepreneur. I could not say it. It just felt so awkward. But you know what? I kept reading it aloud over and over in different sentences until finally it just clicked. It was like a victory dance for my tongue.
It's a great example. And, if you really want to level up your pronunciation, try listening to audiobooks alongside reading.
Ooh, that's a good tip.
Yeah, it's like having a native speaker whispering the correct pronunciation right in your ear.
Like a personal pronunciation coach, but in my pocket.
Exactly. Speaking of coaches, we haven't even touched upon cultural insights books offer.
Oh, yeah. That's huge. I mean, it's one thing to learn grammar and vocabulary, right? But to truly master a language, you have to understand the culture, the humor, all those little nuances that make it unique.
Absolutely. It's like learning the secret code that unlocks a deeper level of understanding.
Right. Because books, they're like portals into different worlds, right?
Yeah.
You're getting glimpses into the lives, beliefs, and traditions of English speakers. You encounter idioms, slang, cultural references that you just wouldn't find in a textbook.
It's true.
Then you're not just learning the language, you're experiencing the culture firsthand through the eyes of the characters and the author's voice.
Exactly. And that deeper understanding, it's key to avoiding misunderstanding.
Yeah, and connecting with people on a more meaningful level.
And ultimately becoming a more confident and fluent English speaker.
Okay, real talk for a second. We live in this world of instant gratification, right? Our attention spans are like constantly being bombarded by notifications, distractions. It's tough to focus on anything for an extended period, let alone a book.
That's so true. But ironically, reading can actually be the antidote to our dwindling attention spans.
Really? How so?
Well, think about it. When you're really immersed in a good book, you're training your mind to stay engaged for longer periods.
So like a mental workout for our focus muscles.
Exactly. You're following this complex storyline, keeping track of all the characters, anticipating what's going to happen next. All of that demands sustained attention. And that, in turn, helps you build this crucial focus muscle.
Okay, I'm liking this focus muscle analogy.
It's essential for language learning and honestly for pretty much everything in life.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's like reading is secretly training us to become Jedi masters of focus.
I like it.
But, let's be practical for a second. All these fancy language learning resources, the courses, the apps, they can get a bit pricey, right?
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? Language learning doesn't have to break the bank.
Okay, good. Because my bank account is already crying.
Reading is a surprisingly budget-friendly way to level up your English skills.
Oh, I mean, books are everywhere.
Exactly. Public libraries are treasure troves of free books.
Oh, yeah, the library, my old friend.
And if you prefer digital reading, there are so many websites and apps that offer free or low-cost ebooks. You could even join like an online book exchange program. Swap books with other people.
It's like having this buffet of language learning at your fingertips, all for like a fraction of the cost of other programs and courses. But, okay, honestly, let's be real. Sometimes learning English can feel a bit like a chore, like you're just drilling vocabulary, memorizing grammar rules. It just gets kind of dull.
I hear you, but that's where the power of storytelling comes in.
Ah, yes, stories.
Books, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, they have this incredible ability to make learning feel effortless.
It's true.
When you're engrossed in a captivating story or exploring a topic that you're just passionate about, you almost forget that you're learning.
It's like sneaking vegetables into a smoothie. You're getting all the nutritional benefits without realizing it.
Exactly. And the beauty of it is you can choose books that align with your interests.
Right. So like if you're a history buff, dive into a historical novel, love science, explore the world of scientific discovery through nonfiction.
Exactly.
Ah, the possibilities.
Yeah.
Endless. Okay, but this brings up another key point. Pacing yourself.
Oh, pacing. Yes. One of the best things about reading as a language learning tool is that it allows you to learn at your own speed.
Right, right.
There's no pressure to keep up with a class or rush through material before you fully grasp it.
That's so important. It's like having a pause button for your learning journey, right?
Yeah.
Feeling overwhelmed. Take a break, reread a challenging section, or look up a word. No rush.
Exactly. Setting realistic goals can help you stay motivated and avoid feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's smart.
So maybe you aim for a chapter a day or a certain number of pages per week.
Yeah.
The key is to find a pace that works for you and allows you to enjoy the process.
Love that. It's all about making reading a sustainable habit, something you look forward to, not dread.
Absolutely. Now, before we move on to the next part of our deep dive, how about we have a little fun? Quick trivia round, test your knowledge.
Ooh, I love trivia. Game on.
Okay, first question. What famous children's book series features a young wizard named Harry Potter?
Oh, come on. Is that even a real question? Harry Potter, obviously, by J.K. Rowling.
You got it, 1 for 1. All right, next one. What classic novel tells the story of a shepherd named Santiago who travels from Spain to the Egyptian desert in search of treasure?
Okay, that one rings a bell. Is it The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho?
That's right, 2 for 2. Okay, last question. What genre of books is specifically designed for language learners at different proficiency levels?
Oh, that's easy. Graded reader books.
You're on fire. 3 for 3. Trivia superstar.
Huh. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about, the practical benefits of reading,
Yeah.
but I think it's important to remember the mental and emotional benefits too, right?
Absolutely. Reading, it's not just about absorbing information. It's about expanding your worldview, sharpening your critical thinking skills, even shaping your identity as an English speaker.
Whoa, okay, that's deep. So it's like reading helps you become a more well-rounded person, both intellectually and emotionally.
Exactly. When you read a thought-provoking book, you're not just passively consuming words. You're engaging with ideas, analyzing arguments, forming your own opinions.
Right, right.
And those critical thinking skills, they're essential for language learning, but honestly, for pretty much every aspect of life.
So true. It's like reading gives you a mental workout, it helps you strengthen those critical thinking muscles, which, makes me think about memory.
Oh, absolutely.
How reading impacts our memory,
Reading is like a gym for your memory. The more you read, the more you're exercising your brain's ability to, retain information.
Okay, so walk me through this.
So you're reading a book, right? You're encountering tons of information, characters, plot lines, settings, historical facts, all of it. Your brain has to work to process and store all of that.
So it's not just about remembering, random trivia facts.
No, it's about improving our overall ability to remember things, period.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's not just about rote memorization either.
Oh.
Reading, it helps you develop different types of memory.
Like what?
Well, there's semantic memory,
Semantic memory, okay.
which is your knowledge of facts and concepts. Then there's episodic memory, which is your recollection of personal experiences. And then there's procedural memory, your ability to perform skills and actions.
Wow, I never realized reading impacts our brains on so many different levels.
And the best part is, it's all happening while you're enjoying a story or learning about something you're passionate about. I want to shift gears for a second
Okay.
and talk about something that I think often gets overlooked. The sheer joy of reading.
Oh, yeah. Because let's be real, learning English shouldn't feel like a chore, right? It should be fun. It should be engaging.
Exactly. Reading is more than just a means to an end. It's an end in itself. It's a way to escape, to explore new ideas, connect with characters and stories that resonate with you. And, when you're truly enjoying the process, learning just becomes effortless.
It's so true. It's like the difference between forcing yourself to eat a plate of broccoli and savoring a delicious piece of chocolate cake.
Perfect analogy. When you find a book that truly captivates you, it's like magic.
I know that feeling.
You get lost in the story, you forget about time, and you just emerge from that experience feeling refreshed, inspired, even transformed.
It's like you've gone on a mini vacation, just for your mind.
Exactly. And you come back recharged and ready to, tackle anything. But speaking of tackling things, I know a lot of people, especially those who are new to reading in English, they struggle with just finding the right books to start with. What advice do you have for them?
That's a great question.
It is, and there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Of course.
But here are a few tips. Don't be afraid to start with something familiar.
Okay.
If you're a fan of a particular genre in your native language, try finding books in that same genre, but in English.
That makes sense, like easing into the process, starting with something you already enjoy.
Exactly. Another tip is to look for books that have been adapted into movies or TV shows.
Oh, smart.
So you can watch the visual version first, just to kind of get a sense of the story and the characters before you dive into the book.
Like a sneak peek behind the scenes.
Right. And I think it's important to remember that it's totally okay to start with books that are below your current reading level.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
The goal is to just enjoy the process, build your confidence.